The U.S.-Israel relationship, long a cornerstone of American foreign policy, is facing unprecedented strains. Built on shared democratic values and strategic interests, the alliance is tested by diverging views on peace, security, and democracy. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's longest-serving prime minister, stands central in this drama. His policies, often at odds with the U.S. administration's vision, have fueled a growing rift. From West Bank settlements to Iran's nuclear ambitions, Netanyahu's decisions impact U.S. interests and global stability. The Biden administration, while committed to Israel's security, has voiced increasing concern over Netanyahu's policies. The U.S. walks a tightrope, seeking to preserve the alliance while upholding its principles and regional objectives. This balancing act navigates the complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the Iranian threat, and shifting Middle East alliances. The stakes are high, with profound implications for both nations and the wider region. Understanding the root causes of this tension is imperative to safeguard the interests of both nations and pursue peace in the Middle East. Netanyahu's ideology is rooted in Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state within secure borders. His worldview, shaped by history, emphasizes the constant threat to Israel's survival. This informs his commitment to strengthening Israel's military, expanding West Bank settlements, and taking a hard line against Iran and Hamas. Netanyahu's rejection of the two-state solution and continued settlement expansion have drawn international condemnation. His close relationship with the Republican Party and criticism of the Obama administration's Iran deal further strained U.S. relations. The long-term consequences of his policies on Israel's future remain a subject of intense debate. The U.S. faces a formidable challenge in navigating its relationship with Israel under Netanyahu. Committed to Israel's security, the U.S. views it as a vital ally in a volatile region. However, the Biden administration increasingly opposes Netanyahu's policies, particularly on the Palestinian issue and Iran. The U.S. supports a two-state solution, which Netanyahu's government contradicts with continued settlement expansion. Efforts to revive the Iran nuclear deal, opposed by Netanyahu, create further friction. The U.S. sees the deal as preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons, while Netanyahu views it as flawed. This complex web of conflicting interests presents the U.S. with a delicate balancing act. The Biden administration must reaffirm its commitment to Israel's security while pursuing its own strategic objectives. This requires skillful diplomacy, clear communication, and frank discussions with both Israeli and Palestinian leaders. Navigating these challenges is crucial for maintaining regional stability and U.S. interests. The U.S.-Israel relationship, once a subject of broad bipartisan consensus, has become increasingly polarized. Support for Israel remains strong, particularly among older generations and evangelical Christians, but there's a growing partisan divide. Democrats are increasingly critical of Israel's treatment of Palestinians and more supportive of a two-state solution. Republicans remain staunchly pro-Israel, emphasizing its right to defend itself and its strategic importance. This partisan divide complicates U.S. policy in the Middle East and challenges American Jewish organizations. The polarization within the American public adds complexity to the U.S.-Israel relationship. Navigating these divisions is essential for formulating a coherent and consistent policy. Iran's nuclear ambitions represent a significant point of contention in the U.S.-Israel relationship. Israel views a nuclear-armed Iran as an existential threat shaping its security calculus. The U.S., while sharing concerns about Iran's nuclear program, favors diplomacy and multilateral agreements. The 2015 Iran nuclear deal aimed to curb Iran's nuclear program in exchange for lifting sanctions. Netanyahu opposed the deal, arguing it didn't prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons and empowered it to fund terrorism. The Biden administration's willingness to rejoin the deal has stalled negotiations, raising fears of potential military confrontation. Iran's increased nuclear activities in response to U.S. withdrawal and sanctions have heightened tensions. This escalating situation underscores the need for a coordinated approach to prevent conflict. The Palestinian issue lies at the heart of the Arab-Israeli conflict and challenges U.S.-Israel relations. The U.S. supports a two-state solution, envisioning an independent Palestinian state alongside Israel. However, the peace process has stalled, with both sides entrenched in their positions. Netanyahu's government has shown little interest in pursuing a two-state solution, expanding settlements in the West Bank. This policy has drawn international condemnation and fueled Palestinian frustration. The Palestinian Authority, weakened by internal divisions, struggles to present a united front. The Biden administration reaffirms its commitment to a two-state solution, but faces challenges in reviving the peace process. Bridging the deep divide between the two sides is essential for achieving lasting peace. The Middle East is undergoing profound transformation, with shifting alliances and regional rivalries reshaping the landscape. The Arab Spring uprisings led to regime changes and instability, creating a vacuum for extremist groups like ISIS. Iran's rise as a regional power has altered the balance, heightening tensions with Sunni Arab states. Russia's intervention in Syria and expanded influence adds complexity for the US and its allies. The US-Israel relationship must adapt to these changing realities. The traditional paradigm of the US as the primary security guarantor is being challenged. The US and Israel need to reassess their strategic priorities and find new ways to cooperate. Navigating this fluid environment is crucial for maintaining regional stability. The US has a long history of involvement in the Middle East, driven by strategic interests and economic considerations. From the Cold War to the fight against terrorism, US interventions have had varying degrees of success. The 2003 invasion of Iraq, based on flawed intelligence, destabilized the region and allowed groups like ISIS to emerge. The US has also been deeply involved in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, providing aid to Israel and mediating peace negotiations. Despite efforts, the US has been unable to broker a lasting peace agreement. The US's legacy of interventionism is a mixed bag, with notable successes and costly failures. Learning from past mistakes, the US must adopt a more cautious approach, prioritizing diplomacy and multilateral solutions. A nuanced approach is essential for addressing the region's complexities. The US's unwavering support for Israel has come at a cost, both domestically and internationally. Critics argue that this close relationship has made the US complicit in Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories. The US provides Israel with billions in military aid annually, often seen as unconditional. Critics argue this support emboldens Israel and undermines peace negotiations. The US frequently uses its veto power to block resolutions critical of Israel, isolating itself internationally. This unwavering support has damaged the US's image in the Muslim world. Balancing commitment to Israel's security with broader regional interests is essential. A more even-handed approach is needed to promote a just and lasting peace. The future of the US-Israel relationship remains uncertain, shaped by domestic politics, regional dynamics, and global power shifts. The deep bond between the two nations is undeniable but not immune to realpolitik pressures. The Biden administration must navigate this complex relationship while addressing pressing regional challenges. Supporting Israel's security, upholding American values, and pursuing US interests requires skillful diplomacy. Focusing on common ground, such as countering Iran and promoting regional cooperation, is a potential path forward. The Abraham Accords offer hope for greater regional cooperation. Addressing the Palestinian issue remains paramount for achieving lasting peace. A renewed push for a two-state solution is essential for ensuring Israel's long-term security. The US-Israel relationship has entered a new era of complexity and uncertainty. Balancing commitment to Israel's security with national interests and human rights is a formidable challenge. The bond between the two nations remains strong, but the path forward requires a delicate balancing act. Open communication, mutual respect, and addressing difficult issues are essential. The stakes are high, with profound implications for the US, Israel, and the Middle East. Finding a sustainable path forward is a moral imperative and strategic necessity. The pursuit of peace and stability in this volatile region demands nothing less.